We got one question, one drill to get around the corner, some insights into where weight and pressure issues typically arise that prevent this.
Sure. So
I guess
let's define what is around the corner.
Yes.
So I would define there being two corners to the swing. One would be from 6 to 7. It will be the outward component, and then from 7 to 8 to 9, the front side. So it would be the corner that you got to get around the front side, where the club head now goes outside the hands.
Yep.
And then when the club head comes back inside the hands.
Yes.
That's the two corners that we're discussing. So the first one can be faulted by the incorrect sequence of having the hips go first, the shaft getting too flat on the downswing, the right elbow going under the left too much, and now you're pinned in the face on camera, the arms are pinned behind you, and you're basically swinging too far to the right, and the club is too far behind you, so you'll never get the club to pass the front side of the arc. That's the sticking, or the, what was the question again, the not coming around the corner.
Not coming around the corner.
So for those players, we would feel the opposite sometimes, to make sure that the arms are coming down first. That old Butch Harmon, Tiger Woods video on Golf Channel Live, Peter Kessler, getting the club to come down in front of him before he turns, versus having an Olay.
So let's talk about pressures for Olay. Let's look at center of mass and start there.
Okay.
Okay. Where would the center of mass be moving with the Olay?
I don't care. I don't like the discussion of center of mass.
Okay.
I'd rather talk about joints and where they are in time and space.
Okay.
Because if you put the joints in the right spots, then the center of mass is a ridiculous topic to discuss.
Well, yeah, like
I'm a little bit surprised that you're
well, only because he's talking about pressures, so the center of mass is to help. Okay. Well, I was trying to answer the question for the guy. That was
I'm
all.
not answering the question.
Okay, then you don't have to answer the question. We don't have to
I will
answer.
answer the question kinetically, not kinematically, not kinetically.
Okay. What would you want to see? I think that might maybe help them then, because I'm trying to understand like what he would be looking for. Let's look at lead leg mechanics from the
Lead
Olay.
leg mechanics, okay.
And the Olay. What would we expect to see if
Straightening of the leg faster,
too fast
moving the weight to the trail side.
because of the straightening?
So as the leg straightens on the backswing, the weight would go forward, which would mean that if the trail leg straightens on the back on the follow through, the weight's going to go back.
Too fast. Yep.
So in the correct mechanics of the swing, the trail leg would straighten and then stay straighter, and the lower body would translate forward.
Yep.
It would not pivot backwards the same way it pivoted forward.
What would you look for in terms of relationships? I know what you're going to say. From the knee, let's go to the ankle.
Yep.
Probably easy for
the lead knee outside the lead ankle.
By when? At 6?
At 6.
So 6 would be shaft parallel for people who don't know. And then when would you start to see the relationship here of the knee starting to move away from its most forward point?
Well, that's a good question. It'd be somewhere between 8 to 9. 7 to 8 is very quick, but 8 to 9 you start seeing the standing up and the extension of the rest of the spine.
And you start to see some spacing between where the line was. If you drew a line up there, you see some spacing there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of pulling back and away.
So we would call that the cat pounce.
Yep. And then you start to see the top of the lead femur moving more out of a diagonal.
Yes, you've got some good videos on that femur.
Yeah, and then it would be really important for a lot of people, especially older people like you and I, in terms of the chaining of the foot out. I think that's a really bad thing that people don't quite understand about that. We can do another video on terms of the femur depth as well. So you can kind of come back and kind of give you a bunch of different videos on that piece in terms of the churning the corner stuff. So let's kind of talk a little bit then in terms of, maybe help him a little bit. What would you want to see in terms of the trail femur depth? Right, so let's kind of talk about what I would define as the midline, right? Yep. From this line, it would be separating our front and back.
Yep.
Okay, so we'd want to see the top of the femur have some depth.
In the transverse, in the sagittal plane.
Yep. So, so kind of simplicity's sake for golfers, like that would be the midline. Mm-hmm. There is the depth piece. So if somebody kind of kicks that relationship out at 6 and has the club too far out, where would you kind of expect to see the
pelvis would be thrusting towards the target?
You see a lot of it kicking out from 4 to 5, the top of the femur bone.
Yes.
How would somebody keep the relationship of the club head in at 6 to help kind of get that club back here to help turn the corner?
Yeah. So what I would do is I'd go outside and stand on a curb.
Yep.
Stand on a curb You'll notice where I've positioned the line here.
Yep.
Hopefully you can get that on camera. It's right in the
Yep.
middle of my foot.
Yep.
So that when I make a backswing, I should still have my weight centered forward to back on the
Yep.
center of my feet. So if I'm on a curb and I thrust my pelvis out too much, I'm gonna fall over.
Yep.
Steve Saraki has a great video. Maybe we can link that as it comes down.
Mm-hmm.
So my lower body would be more to the left here.
Yep.
My upper body would be to the right. If I lose, and they counterbalance each other.
Yes.
So if my pelvis tilted, I'd lose all my tilt. If my pelvis extended, I'd lose all my tilt. Now I have to get my upper body to the left and my lower body to the right.
Yep.
So how you play golf, you've got to have this counterbalance of upper body versus lower body. And if you're on a curb,
It helps. Yeah.
you got a high wire you're trying to stand on, basically a tightrope.
Yeah.
Versus having the
Yeah.
lower body to the right.
And you see like young tiger, old tiger.
Yeah.
It's a big one for that.
There's a lot of saving of shots.
Yeah. Now.
Now,
Now.
but, U.S. Amateur Tiger had the most hip slide and the most side tilt.
Yeah. Big difference.
Huge. When he hit it the best.
Yeah. Well, again, it's going to help inclination to the ground, help stabilize the face.
Yeah. Then every year you age, you lose some flexibility in each one of the facet joints. By the time 10 years passes, 20 years passes, 30 years passes, adding surgeries to bolt them together so that you remove more. Now you start seeing Tiger swinging much more.
Yeah.
Right shoulder higher because he can't side bend.
Yeah.
They've removed some side
Some of
bend
it.
by, I think he has 2 fusions.
Yeah. I think you might be right.